I'm Chef Jasper, and today we are in the kitchen preparing an old-time favorite, Italian favorite that is, stuffed artichoke soup. Well, maybe the soup part isn't an old-time favorite, but stuffed Italian artichokes, oh my, absolutely delicious, and something you're gonna love and want to make, believe me. Let's start off very quickly with some onion, and we just need to mince this onion, but I will tell you this, I kind of like the onion, maybe a little bite, so kind of judge it yourself how you want to go with this. You know, I'm not really particular when it comes to dicing the onions. When it comes to sauteing the garlic, we want to make sure we don't burn it. We don't want to, you know, affect any of the flavor. But the onion, you can have a nice little bite, and that's okay. We like that. So we have our onion minced up here now, and from this point, we'll put a little bit of oil in our pan and start sauteing some of this onion. Oh my, we'll have some really great flavors and some nice smell going on in this kitchen very, very soon. So about a cup of an onion, probably, you know, I like to say maybe a medium onion is just perfect. Nothing fancy when cutting this onion. Now, I've experimented with this before with some shallots. Absolutely love it. Actually, it could give it a little more flavor. So if you want to go that route, go ahead. Red onion, nah, white or green onion only. That's really your best bet with this. And we don't want to burn this. We don't want to, you know, caramelize it, you know, anything like that. We just saute it. It's nothing fancy here when it comes to this. And at this point, we're going to start, you don't want to waste any of that, chopping the garlic, because that's next. I don't want to mix the garlic and the onion together. And one of my tips I always tell everybody, don't go like that with the garlic. Come on, you're going to lose all the flavor. Just chop that garlic up. I like nice little slices or mince it. That's up to you also with this. And I may just save a clove of my garlic for my breadcrumb mixture. So we're going to set that aside. And when I say breadcrumb mixture, oh yeah, that's what's going to give this a lot of flavor. Kind of a topping to the soup. You'll like that a lot. So I'm going to put this aside. We don't want to forget about that. And finish this garlic up. By the time we finish that, we'll give the onion a nice quick stir. And we are on the way to making a delicious soup. Okay. Stir this all together. Building layers again, as I like to say, because that's what we're doing here. Let's add our garlic. Just enough steam off of that to give it some flavor. Any bigger piece of onions, just kind of mix it up a little bit. Now, we're going to start talking about artichokes. Now, this may throw you off. I like frozen artichoke hearts. That's right. You can buy them in the grocery store sometimes. You can find them. Canned artichokes hearts, they're great also. A little bit too much vinegar for me, so you may want to wash those off a little bit if you think it's, you know, a little bit too much preserved flavor to it. Doesn't really matter because once I mix it with the broth and everything else, get all that going, we're okay. I am going to sweat these onions a little bit, so let's add a little bit of salt right now. Again, building layers. Oh, wow. You can really smell this right now. And we're really at a point where I think I may just start adding my artichoke hearts now. Okay, I love these artichoke hearts, nice big plump artichoke hearts. Just cut them up. I mean, I want to show you what happens when I cut one up and when I leave one whole. You're going to cook this down, but you want to bite into the artichoke heart. You don't want this pureed at all. So give it a nice little cut there. And, you know, I tell you 8 ounces, it's not going to hurt if you add more. And boy, getting a fresh artichoke and going through all that just to get, you know, 8 ounces. That's going to be a little bit of work there. So that's why I suggest the frozen or the jarred version. But just look at this. Okay, so you saw me cut up this one. But here, this one here, look at that. They're soft, they're tender. But I like to leave the leaves whole. So I'm not going to really mix this up much. Look at it. I want the leaves to look like this right here. Give that a quick stir. In the meantime, we're going to put this on the back burner. And let's start a little bit of roux. Okay, so for roux, we're going to need some butter. Looks like a lot of butter, but believe me, it's going to give it some flavor too. And that's kind of what we want. While that is everything kind of working together right now, and we'll start our roux. While that really starts to melt, and let me just turn it up a little more. Then we're just going to chop a little bit of parsley. While that roux is, the butter is melting, and we're going to do what I like to say is our topping. So get this parsley, and you don't want it minced so fine that it just kind of disappears, or just for coloring. I like a little bite in this. And at this point, we have a bowl here. I'll finish this up. We're going to add Italian breadcrumbs or plain breadcrumbs. I prefer plain breadcrumbs because I'm going to add my own flavor. Remember I told you we're going to save some of that garlic. So we'll put that garlic in there. And grated cheese. Oh yeah. This is going to give it all the flavor right here. We'll mix this together. Oh, smells just fantastic. This is the beginning of a delicious soup. Finish chopping this parsley up. Butter is melting here. I'm cooking on all 4 burners, or at least 2 burners in my chopping block here. That's it. Add my parsley. Give this a quick mix again. And we'll set this aside. At this point, let's check out our artichokes. Perfect. Butter is melting here. And we're going to start our roux. All right. Add our flour. Now, unlike a lot of roux, when we're looking to brown our soup or our stock, etc., this is just perfect right here. We don't want to cook this too long. I'm not looking for a deep, dark, rich flavor. But I think everything is nice and dissolved here because we don't want any lumps in our soup. And we'll just set that aside. Put this soup back on here. And at this point, this is probably cooked enough. We're going to add our broth. Now, if you want to keep it vegetarian, then you can go ahead and add just water. But you're going to need to add a little bit more salt and kind of adjust your seasoning a little bit. So I love the chicken broth in here. A little more salt. We'll give it a taste here in a few. Some cracked pepper. Be creative. If you want to go and add some different herbs, that's up to you all. But a little cracked pepper is not going to hurt this soup, I will tell you that. All right. Continue to cook this down. And as it's cooking down, it's not going to thicken. Remember that. This is not the time to talk about thickening this soup. We'll do that in just a few when it comes to a boil. And then, of course, we'll add our roux. Our soup has come to a nice boil at this point. Let's add our roux. Just perfect. Look how nice and rich and creamy this has become. Now it's time to adjust this and see how our seasoning adjusts. Let's look at this. Oh, perfect consistency too. Look at that. A creamy soup without the cream. You know, I may add just a little more salt to this. A little touch of pepper. And I'm going to show you a little trick of mine. I finish with a little bit of olive oil. Gives it a nice little flavoring right at the end. You can also drizzle some olive oil on top of the soup before you serve it. And here we are. We are ready to ladle this up. How simple, easy, and delicious. I really think you're going to love it. Along with some breadcrumb topping. Give that a good stir again. Right on top. Now, some like to toast those breadcrumbs ahead of time, but I'll tell you what, I love it just like that. Nice and kind of a little chunky there. Stuffed artichoke soup. Something I guarantee you're going to love. I know my family does, and it's going to become a tradition with you. I guarantee you. Brought to you by Hen House Markets.